Used to sleep with the headlights on, bottle on the dash, nowhere to belong. Had a worn-out soul and a dead-end name, just another sinner hiding shame. Burned through love like a motel match, left scars on hearts I can't get back. County lines and broken laws, trying to outrun what I really was. And every night felt cold as stone, even in a crowded room alone. I'd laugh loud so they wouldn't know how far down a man can go. Then one night outside Tulare County, I fell to my knees beside the road. Spoke to God through bloodshot eyes with boots covered in dirt and smoke. Jesus, I ain't asking for silver, I ain't asking for gold, just pull this weary sinner out of this graveyard soul. I've been lost in the dark too long, carrying pain I can't outrun, but your mercy found me bleeding like the Father waiting on his Son. Now I still got scars on both my hands, still fight ghosts I don't understand, but the man I was ain't who I am since grace came walking through the sand. Some nights the devil still talks slow through old motel TVs and radio, but I hear your name cut through the black, and it keeps this dying heart on track. I remember Psalm 23, back when my mother read it to me. Funny how truth comes circling back when your world fades to black. Jesus, you were there in the wreckage, standing in the smoke, right beside the shattered pieces of the life I nearly broke. And I still walk these highways slowly, still got dust upon these boots, but God, I finally find redemption the night I finally told the truth. Now the headlights don't feel so cold, since heaven grabbed a hold my soul. There's a stain on the Bible Mama gave me, ashes on the pages, whiskey on the seams. Spent half my life trying not to feel, the other half choking on pills. I used to trade my soul by the bottle, sleeping in trucks behind old bars, needle smoking motel prophets, leaving little burn marks on my arms. I told myself I had control while hell was digging out my bones. Every prayer fell 6 feet deep, and every sunrise brought defeat. I remember shaking in a gas station bathroom mirror, cracked like my own face. Looked up and whispered, God, if you're listening, I can't survive this place. Jesus, break these chains around me, pull me from this grave. I've been drowning in the shadows, trying to outrun my shame. Every road led to destruction, every lie became my home, but your mercy hit like thunder. scars beneath my jacket. Still bad dreams at 3:30. Still hear old voices call my name from the ghost I used to be. But I ain't waking up half dead anymore on dirty floors beneath neon lights. God pulled me from the bottom and taught these tired hands to fight. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Funny how those words felt different after I finally hit the ground. And somewhere deep inside the silence, I heard freedom calling me. Jesus, you found me in withdrawal, shaking, cold and scared, with bloodshot eyes and trembling hands, too broken to be spared. Now I walk this road forgiven, though the past still follows close. And God, every breath you give me feels like resurrection smoke. Drive by those old bars sometimes, but I don't belong there now. The man who crawled through those back doors ain't the man I am somehow. Factory closed in early winter. Left this town half boarded up. Men in steel-toed boots stood silent, with empty hands and rusted trucks. I lost my father that same December. Cancer took him slow and mean. Watched the strongest man I ever knew fade into hospital machines. Bills stacked high beside the sink. My wife cried softly in the dark. I kept asking God for answers while the world fell apart. There were nights I drove for hours, just talking to Jesus alone, trying to find a little mercy somewhere down those broken roads. God, when the weight gets heavy and the sky won't let it light, when my hands can't hold much longer and my soul's too tired to fight, you stay beside me in the valley. Even when my faith runs thin, and somehow through all this sorrow, you keep teaching me again. Some days hope came slow as sunrise. Some days grief cut like a knife. But pain has a way of showing what really matters in this life. I think about old Job sometimes, how he sat there covered in dust, still holding on to heaven when everything turned to rust. God, you carried me through sickness, through the funerals and loss, through the nights I nearly broke my knee, my own heavy cross. And I still ain't got all the answers, still got scars that never heal. Jesus gives strength to the weary, out here in these empty fields. So I'll keep walking through the hard times with these trembling hands in yours, 'cause faith ain't proven in the easy, it's what survives the storm. There's a courthouse in Oklahoma still remembers my last name, and a woman down in Tulsa who got burned by my mistake. I spent years running reckless like Cain out in the wild, leaving pain in every mirror, too stubborn to reconcile. I drank away every warning, turned good love into smoke, built my whole life out of pride till everything finally broke. One night in a rundown motel with a Gideon Bible by the bed, I asked Jesus for forgiveness for the living and the dead. Jesus, wash these dirty hands clean, I ain't worthy of your grace. Still you're meeting me in the ruins and call me by my name. I got miles of guilt behind me and memories that still burn, but your mercy keeps reminding me no lost soul can return. Now I work down at the feed store, keep my head bowed when I pray, try to love folks a little better than I did back yesterday. Some scars never really vanish, some ghosts still come around, but forgiveness sounds like freedom when heaven makes a sound. I remember that old preacher saying mercy triumphs over judgment. Didn't mean much back then till I had nothing left but repentance. Jesus, you stayed when others left me, when I hated who I was, and you pulled me from the darkness with nail-scarred hands of love. Now every road ahead feels different, though the past still calls my name. 'Cause redemption ain't forgetting, it's who you become through grace. There's peace now in the silence where the whiskey used to roar, and God knows I'm still healing, but I'm not lost anymore. I've been waking up tired lately, even after sleeping all night. Coffee gets cold in my hands while I stare at the morning light. And folks say, man, you look alright. So I just nod and fake a grin, but they don't hear the noise inside or the storm beneath my skin. Bills on the counter keep piling up, news on TV keeps sounding bad, and somewhere along these hard years I forgot the last time I laughed. I ain't talking about some wild breakdown, just a heaviness that won't leave, like carrying a sack of rocks nobody else can see. Jesus, my mind gets restless and my heart wears thin. Some nights I fight silent battles I don't know how to win, but when the fear starts rising and sleep won't come again, your peace falls slow like rain on this worried soul I'm in. My daddy never talked emotions, men back then just pushed ahead. So I learned to hide my struggles and keep them buried in my chest. But hiding pain just feeds it till it takes up every room, and a man can feel surrounded even standing at high noon. I read where Elijah got so weary, he asked the Lord to let him go. Funny how even strong men in the Bible could feel that kind of low. Yeah, Jesus stayed close in the my thoughts run wild and fast. Remind me this troubled season ain't forever gonna last. Teach these tired hands to trust you when my strength gives out again. 'Cause God, I know you still walk beside me through the worry and the pain. So if somebody asks tomorrow how I'm doing these days, I might finally tell the truth and let God carry some weight. I built myself with both my hands from the ground up. Every brick I laid I called it discipline and love. Never asked a soul for nothing, never bowed my head. Had a name that stood for something, had a life I lived. Had a woman by my side who tried to tell me to slow down. Had a son who watched his daddy treat the world like his own crown. I smiled at every mirror like it owed me something more. Never thought about what's waiting on the other side the door. Pride don't warn you when it's killing you. Just smiles and lets you run, lets you climb until you're high enough to fall beneath the sun. I was a man of my own making, built on stone that I carved alone. And when the whole thing started breaking, there was nowhere left to go. I hit a floor I never knew was there, face down in the dark without a prayer. And the only voice that found me was the one I swore I'd never need. God, I heard you in the wreckage of everything I built without you. And I wept like a man who finally learned what it means to be made new. The company was over and the creditors came calling. Found my wife's last letter on the night she stopped me falling. She said, I love you, but I'm tired of loving walls and a man who can't admit he doesn't have it all. And I sat in an empty kitchen with a bottle and the dark, and I felt the silence louder than I'd felt it from the start. 40 years of building something gone before the dawn. And man, I thought I was just sat there, all but gone. Mercy don't announce itself with trumpets. It just comes when you've got nothing. Comes when all your reasons are exhausted and your hands have stopped reaching. I was a man of my own making, built on stone that I carved alone. And when the whole thing started breaking, there was nowhere left to go. I hit a floor I never knew was there, face down in the dark without a prayer. And the only voice that found me was the one I swore I'd never need. God, I heard you in the wreckage of everything I built without you. And I wept like a man who finally learned what it means to be made new. I used to say that broken men were weak, just afraid. There's a scripture that I laughed at in my 20s about the proud being scattered in the thoughts of their own hearts. I am the living proof of those words, scattered and then gathered by hands I can't explain. I still wake up some mornings reaching for the old man, the one who didn't need nobody, the one with the sure plan. And I feel him like a ghost in the bones of who I am, but I let him go to God and try to be a different man. I won't pretend the road back home is easy. I won't pretend I've got it figured out. But there's something in me softer than there used to be, and it's learning what it means to live without the doubt. I was a man of my own making, now I'm trying to be his, trying to be his. I know better, I always do. I've known better since I was new. Sat in the pew, heard every word, walked out the same, pretended I heard and did the wrong thing. Knew it was wrong and told myself lies, told them too long. It ain't unbelief, it ain't giving up. It's the same old man climbing out of the cup. God forgive me, I've said it before. God forgive me, I'll say it once more. I believe you, I just can't hold the line. The spirit is willing, but the flesh ain't mine. I snapped at my brother over nothing at all. Saw his face change, watched something fall. Apologized twice, he said it was fine, but we both knew it wasn't the first time. I'm a patient man till I'm not. I'm a good man till I'm caught. It ain't performance, ain't self-pity talk. It's a man who knows the road, still can't walk. God forgive me, I've said it before. God forgive me, I'll say it once more. I believe you, I just can't hold the line. The spirit is willing, but the flesh ain't mine. Paul said it plain 2,000 years back. The good that I want is the thing that I lack. So I'm not the first man to kneel at this place with the same dirty hands, reaching up for the same grace. I wake up tomorrow, try it again, lose by noon, repent by 10, come back broken, come back small, lay it down. That's all, just lay it down. That's all. God forgive me, not for the last time. God receive me, not for the first. I'm a man who keeps returning to the only well that's worth it, coming back with empty hands and the familiar thirst. Coming back with it amazed and the familiar thirst. I used to talk to you like you were there. I used to feel the room change when I'd pray. There was a long time back before the quiet came, before I called your name and heard nothing say. I'm not angry, just hollow. I'm not leaving, just lost. Where did you go? Or did I? Was it you that went silent? Or was it I? God, I am asking, not accusing. I just need to know you're still on the line. 'Cause I've been talking to a ceiling for so long now, I've forgotten what it's like to feel fine. I watched a good man lose his boy, watched him pray with everything he had, watched the silence answer back, and I don't know what to do with that. I still believe, I think I do, but belief and feeling ain't the same two things. And I've been running on belief alone for long enough to feel the wearing. I'm not doubting, just waiting. I'm not walking, just still. Where did you go? Or did I? Was it you that went silent? Or was it I? God, I am asking, not accusing. I just need to know you're still on the line. 'Cause I've been talking to a ceiling for so long now, I've forgotten what it's like to feel fine. David said, my God, why have you forsaken? And let him say it. You put it in the book, you kept the words, so maybe you can hold this too. Maybe honest is the only prayer I've got left to give you. So here it is, I'm here I don't know where you are, but I'm still here. I lit a candle, not for faith, just for something warm in the dark. Sat beside it, didn't speak, just let it burn, a quiet start. And something in the silence shifted just enough. Not a voice, not a vision, just enough. I don't know where you went, or if you went at all. I don't know if you hear this, but I'm making the call. God, I'm returning, not with answers, just with the wreck of all my doubt. I don't need you to explain it, I just need you present. That's what this is about. The bills came in on a Tuesday. The work ran out by the fall. Called my brother, got his voicemail. Called my wife in the hall. She didn't cry, just got quiet. The quiet that says it all. Yeah, I've been here before, just not this far down. I've been close to the edge, just not this close to the ground. I don't have a word from the mountain, I don't have a sign from above. Just a man on a Wednesday morning, choosing to believe in something like love. Jesus, I am not asking for easy, just asking you, don't let go of my hand. I know you don't promise the storm clears by morning. I just need to know you're still in the land. My daddy lost everything in 80, came back up by 83. Never talked about what held him, just said, son, you wait and see. I used to think that was avoidance, now I think that was faith. Not the faith that shouts from the rooftop, the faith that just gets up again. The kind that don't look like much from the outside, just a man still standing in the rain. I don't have a word from the mountain, I don't have a sign from above. Just a man on a Wednesday morning, choosing to believe in something like love. Jesus, I am not asking for easy, just asking you, don't let go of my hand. I know you don't promise the storm clears by morning. I just need to know you're still in the land. There's a verse I keep coming back to, about the peace that passes understanding. I used to want to understand it, now I just want the peace. My wife made coffee this morning, set a cup down next to mine. Didn't say a word, just did it, and I felt something close to a sign. I can't tell you it gets easy, can't tell you the clouds roll back. I can tell you that I'm standing, and I know what I still have. Got a cup of coffee, got a woman, got a God who hasn't moved. And that's not nothing for a Wednesday. That's not nothing else to prove. I don't need a word from the mountain, I've got enough to make it through. Just a man on an ordinary morning, finding out that ordinary's enough. Jesus, I am still here holding, still asking you to hold me too. I know you don't promise the storm clears by morning, but you're in the storm and that'll do. That'll do. She'd be up before the sun, before the house made any sound, on her knees beside the bed, with her forehead to the ground. I'd walk past her door at 6, on my way to somewhere on. She was calling out my name to a God I didn't want. I thought it was a habit, old women and their prayers. I thought it didn't travel past the ceiling and the air. But she knew something that I didn't. She knew a name that I wouldn't say. And every morning on that hardwood she was spending what I threw away. Jesus wasn't mine yet, but he was hers, and she kept making payments on a debt didn't know I owed. I left at 17, came back at 23. Different city, same old me, just more tired and more free. She didn't say a word about the years or where I'd been, just made a plate, set it down and said, let's pray before we begin. I bowed my head for her sake, not for any God of mine. But I heard her say my name, and I heard her say it fine. I thought it was just habit, just a mother and her boy. But she was speaking to a someone, and her voice had no decoy. She knew something that I didn't. She knew a name that I wouldn't say. And every morning on that hardwood she was spending what I threw away. Jesus wasn't mine yet, but he was hers, and she kept making payments on a debt I didn't know I owed. She called me in October, said the doctors found a thing. Said don't worry, said she wasn't, said keep living. I drove the 7 hours, sat beside her in the white, and she said, baby, have you found him yet? I said, mama, not quite. She said, that's all right, he knows where you are. She said, that's all right, he's not far. She passed on a Friday, February cold and clear. I stood outside the hospital, couldn't make myself go near. And something broke in me that I didn't know was whole. Something she had prayed for found its way into a hole. I sat down on the curb in the parking lot alone, and I said the name out loud for the very first time on my own. It wasn't pretty, wasn't planned, just a grown man on cold ground, finally reaching for a hand. She knew something that I didn't. She knew a name that I finally said. And every morning on that hardwood, she was praying me to something up ahead. Jesus found me in a parking lot in February in the cold. On the same knee she had worn down, paying off that debt she'd been carrying all along. I pray now in the morning before the house makes any sound. I don't always find the words right, but I put my forehead to the ground, and I think about her voice and the name she said for me before I knew I needed it, before I knew how to believe. There's a war that nobody sees fought in the end, fought in the hours between midnight and 3. In the mind, in the chest, in the place you don't confess, where the voice that knows your name says you're nothing, says you're blame, says the things you almost believe every time. I know the enemy don't come with horns. He comes a memory, cold wounds. He comes sounding just like me. I have stood at that border where the darkness starts to make sense, where the lie sounds like comfort and the truth sounds like offense. Jesus, I need more than willpower. I need something at my back, because the voice inside the darkness knows exactly where I cracked. 3 in the morning, couldn't sleep. Every failure piled up deep, every face I let down, every promise come unwound. And the voice said you're done, said you've always come undone, said there's nothing left to fight for, said give in. I know the enemy don't fight fair. He picks the hour when your guard is down, when there's nobody there. I have stood at that border where the darkness starts to make sense, where the lie sounds like comfort and the truth sounds like offense. Jesus, I need more than willpower. I need something at my back, because the voice inside the darkness knows exactly where I cracked. talking about a metaphor. I'm talking about something real at the door. I have felt it in the room. I have felt the weight of it like a second skin, like a tomb. And I have said the name out loud in the dark, not in a church, not in a crowd. Just a man in a bedroom saying Jesus out loud. And the room changed. I won't tell you that it's over, won't tell you that it's won. The same hours come back nightly, the same voice under the sun. But something stands beside me in the place I can't explain, and the darkness hasn't taken me, and I wake up and I remain. I know the enemy is real. I know the ground I'm standing on is realer still. I have stood at that border, I have felt the pull of it. I have almost crossed it over more than once, I'll not forget. Jesus stood between me and it in the hours no one sees. And I'm here in the morning light, still standing on my knees. I'm not coming with a list today, not coming with demands, just sitting in the quiet with my open, empty hands. And there's a wound I've carried long enough that I forgot it was a wound, and just thought that's how it feels to be a man. In this world, I don't need the explanation, don't need to understand. I just need whatever's broken to be touched by something that can mend. God, lay your hands on what I can't reach, on the parts I don't show anyone, on the old things, on the scarred things, on the pieces coming undone. Jesus, I believe you heal. Not always how I'd ask, not always when I'd want, but I'm asking now with what I have, which isn't much. But it's all I've got. There's a shame I never spoke out loud, lived so long inside it, moved in, built a room and called it mine, called it just the way I've always been. But a thing that lives in darkness grows in ways you can't predict, and I'm tired of the tenant, Lord, I'm asking you to evict. Not asking for the easy road, not asking for the pain to end, just asking for the grace to let you in. God, lay your hands on what I can't reach, on the parts I don't show anyone, on the old things, on the scar things, on the pieces coming undone. Jesus, I believe you heal, not always how I'd ask, not always when I'd want, but I'm asking now with what I have, which isn't much. But it's all I've got. I read once he was moved with compassion when he saw the sick, didn't lecture, didn't question, just reached out and touched. I need that touch on the specific thing, you already know, the one I can't say out loud even now. You know what it is, that's enough. You know what it is. I'm not the same as when I started this conversation with the floor. Something shifted, something loosened, something opened, just a door. Not a cure, not a lightning bolt, not a vision in the night, just a man who came in broken, leaving with a little more light. God, lay your hands on what I carry, on the weight I can't set down alone, the old things, on the dark things, on the parts that never felt like home. I believe you, I'm still learning what that means from day to day, but I'm here and I'm open, and that's more than yesterday. And that's more than yesterday.